In this book, the future cold-faced financial genius Andrew, who will dominate the world, is now being bullied by a group of vicious rich second generations. He leaned against the wall, glaring coldly at the people in front of him. Andrew, why are the soles of your shoes broken? They're so dirty. How do you come to class with us? The boy deliberately covered his nose, showing extreme disgust. Andrew's expression remained unchanged, but his face was pale. He clenched his fists, showing a fragile stubbornness. And I, Jackson, the top villain and second male lead in this story. I'm going to give him the final blow when Andrew is on the verge of collapse and kick him completely into the abyss. Are you ready? Oh, right, good boy, comb your hair. Your cowlick is standing up again. The system carefully reminded me in my mind. I vigorously slicked back my hair into an intimidating pompadour, then with a sinister smile, I walked over slowly. What interesting things are you talking about? Tell me too. Bro Jackson, you're here? Well, Andrew got the first place in the exam again. We're here to congratulate him. All right, it's none of your business anymore. I waved my hand and sent them away. In the empty corridor, only I and the blocked Andrew were left. He glanced at me expressionlessly, then picked up his school bag on the ground and turned to leave. Hey, I haven't even spoken yet. The speech I drafted staying up late last night can't be wasted. I quickly waved my arm to block his way. Accidentally, my palm pressed tightly against his chest. Andrew's eyebrows twitched. He pursed his lips and stared silently at my hand. Good boy, I just remembered that the male lead seems to have a bit of a cleanliness fetish. The system explained. I see. That's great. I'm going to disgust him thoroughly. I grinned wickedly and didn't let go. Tilting my head provocatively, I said, Dude, how did you work out? You've got quite big muscles. Andrew indeed frowned even more tightly, showing a disgusted expression. Get out of the way. He tried to push me away, but I just wouldn't let it go. I wrapped my arms around him and pushed him against the wall. Don't leave first. Listen to what I have to say. I've got a whole belly full of trash talk. I came here specifically to mock you. Just for your poker face, I have 18 kinds of abstract metaphors. Andrew's eyes darkened. He glared at me fiercely, as if looking at trash. He grabbed my wrist with one hand with so much strength that my bones ached. It hurts so much. Isn't he a poor student? Does he eat protein powder every day? I complained to the system in my mind. Good boy, hold on a little longer. Your script is to bully Andrew badly and let the passing female lead, Olivia, see it. Otherwise, how can she act bravely for a just cause and make Andrew look at her differently from now on? Without looking at her differently, how can there be a future reunion? This is a very important plot point. The system loves to nag and has a gentle nature. I'm the kind of person who yields to persuasion but not to coercion. So I had to grab Andrew backhandedly to stop him from leaving. He increased the force and I said, let go. He squeezed tightly. I couldn't help but let out a soft gasp in pain. Hug. Andrew was stunned for a moment. I noticed that the strength on my wrist lessened a bit. Without thinking twice, I simply pounced on him. Good boy. The female lead is at the corridor corner. 3 seconds left. 3, 2. Humph, everything is within my calculation. As long as I knock Andrew down with my weight and then wave my fist, the female lead, Olivia, will definitely misunderstand that I'm beating up Andrew. As long as she lets out an exclamation and scolds me to stop. Wouldn't my act be successful? I'm such a genius. But the next second, when I pounced on him, he lightly swayed his leg, then immediately steadied himself and quickly pinched my lower back. I quickly dodged backward. Andrew frowned and subconsciously wrapped his palm around my buttocks, gently lifting me up. I was then held in his arms with my legs wrapped around his thighs. I simply couldn't struggle. All of this happened in an instant, so fast that I didn't have time to react. The next second, before I could break free, Andrew pushed me and my back hit the wall heavily. Golden stars flashed before my eyes. I gritted my teeth and, relying on my remaining consciousness, tried to say, Andrew, I have something to tell you. You look really good when you smile, like the big fool next door. Andrew's fierce expression suddenly froze. Before I could finish speaking, a startled cry came. Ah! I squinted my eyes and looked with a dazed gaze. Unfortunately, that person was the female lead. Then I, barely hanging on, could only stare at Olivia hopefully. Does she still think I'm bullying Andrew? Olivia, in this world, there are people who use their faces to bully others' palms and insult others by being pushed against the wall. This is very normal. I opened my eyes wide, trying to convince Olivia with my fierce and malicious eyes. Olivia covered her mouth, looked at me, then at Andrew. She nodded at me, seemingly understanding my hint. Then the short Olivia bravely put her hands on her hips, stood in front of Andrew and shouted, "Andrew, you can't bully your classmates. It's over. What should I do? Dear, if I can't complete the first task, the main system will deduct my salary." The system was crying in a complete mess. I didn't care about anything else and quickly climbed off Andrew and pushed him hard. He didn't bully me. I shouted. Olivia was stunned. "Well, I saw Andrew hitting you as soon as I came over. I was extremely anxious and wished I could wipe out this memory." I grabbed Olivia's shoulders firmly. "No, he didn't. Listen carefully, Olivia. Andrew is a good person. He didn't bully me nor anyone else. Please don't have any negative impressions of him because of me." Unfortunately, my nose started bleeding. After transmigrating into the book and changing my body, why am I still so fragile and afraid of pain? "You're bleeding from being hit by him," Olivia screamed. I wiped it off forcefully. "No, it's just too hot." I said seriously, "Come on, Olivia, we can become friends through this fight. Andrew, come on, shake hands and be friends." Perhaps God was kind. Andrew, who had been against me just now, didn't know what got into him and actually listened to me and obediently reached out his hand. However, he lowered his eyes with a somewhat complicated look in them and reached his hand to my side. I curiously turned his hand in front of Olivia. "You two shake hands. Why are you reaching your hand to me? Who wants to be friends with you? I hate guys who are in better shape and stronger than me the most." The next day, I squinted my eyes, holding a lollipop in my mouth, and secretly peeked at Andrew gloomily. Fortunately, the female lead didn't have any strange misunderstandings in the last mission, and I barely completed it satisfactorily. However, I learned from this experience and deeply understood one thing: Andrew is not as easy to deal with as I thought. I stared at Andrew, who was holding a tray with only a bowl of rice and a free soup. My head slowly turned following his path. He's not a poor and weak little white flower at all. He looks so thin, but he's stronger than someone who has eaten 3 cows. How could he only eat so little? He must have some scheme. I stared at him even more intently, wishing I could stare through his faded school uniform. "My dear, look, I've knitted a woolen hat for you." The system took out a hat pattern that looked like a QR code. I was distracted and said to it, "It's nice." I smiled, and just as I turned my head back, I suddenly bumped into a soft and strong chest. "What are you sitting here laughing at?" Andrew suddenly walked over while I was distracted. I was so scared that I fell backward and sat down against the wall. Andrew. He was standing too close to me. Seeing me so frightened, Andrew slightly raised his eyebrows. "It's really a sin for a man to look like him. How could someone be good, looking even with just their eyebrows?" The jealousy in my heart became even stronger. I couldn't help asking irritably, "What do you want?" Andrew sighed, squatted down, and slowly held out the hand that was behind his back in front of me. There was a small cake in his palm. It was a cream cake from the school store, costing 20 yuan each. It was very small and cheap. It was the kind of junk that even Jackson's lackeys would look down on. But it was something that Andrew was reluctant to eat and thought could be given as a gift. "I'm sorry for hitting you last time because of a misunderstanding," he said softly. "I'm giving you this gift to make amends. Don't be angry with me anymore." I held the cake stupidly and watched Andrew leave in a daze. The system was also stunned. "What's going on? It wasn't mentioned in the original text. Is there poison in the cake?" I responded absent-mindedly. For some inexplicable reason, I recalled Andrew's back as he left just now. It seemed that his shoes were still broken. Oh right, there's a scene in the sports meeting where a beauty saves a hero. You have to show up and bully Andrew. Still have to bully him? I blurted out subconsciously, then immediately reacted and said, "Oh, got it." I licked the cream on the small cake. Actually, it's quite sweet. There's still some time until the sports meet. I maintained the persona of a wealthy playboy, spending my days laughing and joking with my cronies. And Andrew never left his desk even during breaks, always burying his head in his studies. As for the female lead, I heard she was busy practicing high jump and could already jump 1.7 meters. To be honest, I've been deliberately avoiding Andrew. I get annoyed just looking at him. Who wants to deal with him? That's how I replied when the system asked me. But I knew in my heart that there might be a more important reason. Although I'm a good nothing rich second generation, I simply don't like doing bullying things. The less I'm around him, the fewer bullying tasks I'll get. Moreover, last time it was just that I underestimated him and let him off easy. That kid has fair and tender skin. I'm tough-skinned. It doesn't hurt when he punches me a few times. But if we really fight, what if I beat him into a little crybaby with red, rimmed eyes? I don't like taking advantage of others. Last time he treated me to a cake, I secretly stuffed some money into his school bag. Not much, just 1,000 yuan, enough for me to have a meal. But giving a return gift is one thing. I can't let him think I'm a good person. I also left a very rude, insulting note: change your lousy shoes for me. I want to see ones like this. The picture was a product image of a cheap brand I randomly found. However, after that, the system stared at the picture for a long time. What's wrong? I frowned. Sneakers with red stripes on a white background and white socks that outlined the calf muscles and slender Achilles tendons. Isn't this just the normal outfit of a male student? It's okay. The system said with difficulty. I must be overthinking it. On the day of the sports meeting, Andrew indeed changed his shoes. He took off his school uniform and wore sports shorts and a white t-shirt. I took a glance at his sneakers and nodded in satisfaction. For some reason, Andrew's ears turned red. He turned his head away and coughed. He's having another episode. I concluded in my heart. Andrew participated in the competition to win the first prize, a supermarket shopping card. He wanted to give it to the neighbor grandma who had always taken care of him. However, the villains who had always disliked him bribed the referee and deliberately bumped into Andrew during the race, making him fall and break his leg. I couldn't help scolding. Are they crazy? These students don't study hard and only think about how to bully others all day. If it were in my days, I could use the shopping card to slap these little punks silly. Dear, don't forget that you were the villain who pushed Andrew. I fell silent and changed the topic. Well, then what happened? Then, the female lead will step forward, help Andrew up, speak up for justice, and use the video she recorded of the competition to successfully help Andrew get back the prize that belongs to him. This is the dear I know. I sighed. The system was considerate and gentle. You are also the dear. I blushed. Andrew participated in the 1-kilometer race. I cheated a little in advance. By reading the original book, I knew how many minutes and seconds Andrew finally ran. Then, these days, I've been training hard all day long. With the scientific diet prepared by the nutritionist and the fitness schedule arranged by the coach this time, I'm definitely going to outrun the beefy male lead. The starting gun fired. Andrew and I started almost simultaneously. The wind roared in my ears. I stuck close to his side, neck and neck with him. Humph, never thought you'd have such a strong rival, huh? Andrew. I couldn't help but put on a spurt of speed, overtaking Andrew in a few steps. I turned my head to look at him, wearing a smug and arrogant sneer. So you like running, huh? You cowardly thing, and you like running? Can you outrun me? I thought the implication of my words was quite obvious. But Andrew was stunned for a moment. He stared at me and I didn't know what he was looking at. It gave me the creeps. Not bad, he said indifferently, then turned his head away. You're quite fast. What does that mean? Why did I see the corners of his mouth twitch? The next second, something terrifying happened. Andrew, who had been running side by side with me, accelerated. He picked up speed before even completing one lap, and it seemed so effortless. Oh no. I quickly reached out my hand, but not only couldn't I push him, I couldn't even touch the corner of his clothes. What's going on? In the original plot, he wasn't this good. Panicked, I also sped up. In an instant, the rhythm was completely disrupted. I gasped heavily and stared fixedly at Andrew. What on earth is going on? Ah, I understand. The system suddenly let out a painful scream. The shoes. It's the shoes. You made him buy a pair of running shoes. In an instant, my world collapsed. I ended up in 4th place and won an encouragement prize, a pack of washing powder. Andrew stood on the podium holding the supermarket shopping card, taking pictures. His cronies loudly complained that the competition system was unfair. They said that since the referee had taken money, why didn't he just carry me to run a 1st place finish? Other classmates went to watch the women's high jump. I heard that a classmate this year had a chance to enter the provincial team. I sat slumped in the corner, my eyes blank and my face pale. Muttering to myself, that was a fully formed medal. It's gone, all gone. The system also murmured, I'll definitely have my bonus deducted this time. I still have a 12-year mortgage to pay. Suddenly, a figure blocked the scorching sun above me. I looked up resentfully. It was Andrew. Well, there was some money left after buying the shoes with the money you gave me last time. But my neighbor's grandma happened to fall ill, so I gave the money to her first. He reached out his hand and offered me the supermarket shopping card. Here's paying you back 200 first. As if afraid that I'd get angry, he quickly added, I'll pay you back the rest of the money slowly. I said irritably, what money are you talking about paying back? That 1,000? Overwhelmed by a sudden surge of audacity born from my anger, I swatted the card out of his hand. I've already said I didn't give you any money. It's truly ridiculous for you to spout such nonsense here. Inside my mind, I bombarded the system with questions in rapid succession. Is it useful? Is it useful? Can I still mend the situation? Main system. Are you there, main system? Dude or sis, open your eyes and take a look. I'm bullying Andrew. I shouted. I was on the verge of madness. Andrew turned pale. Silently, he picked up the shopping card, then lowered his eyes and stared at me intently. Unable to bear it any longer, I stood up and pushed him with all my might. Andrew staggered but managed to regain his balance. Gritting my teeth in fury, I gave him another hard shove. After hesitating for a couple of seconds, Andrew followed the force of my push and sat down on the ground. I hurled the packet of washing powder at him viciously. He flinched and dodged to the side as if in pain. Andrew, I hate you. Stop trying to talk to me. Finally, I heard the long-awaited voice of the main system. After detection, the male lead's mood value has plummeted. The bullying was successful and bonus points are awarded. However, since the main task was not completed, the points are deducted. I heaved a sigh of relief. It's neither good nor bad. At least I don't have to lose money. In the following days, I didn't talk to Andrew anymore. As the plot progressed, I went abroad to study, bringing my high school life in my home country to an early end. 2 years later, as an exchange student, I finally returned to my country and successfully entered the university where the male and female leads were studying. Looking up at the sky and laughing, I said, I don't have to eat Western food anymore. I feasted on hot pot for 3 consecutive days. It wasn't until the 4th day that I received a reminder from the main system. Friendly reminder, please note that the strategy value for the female lead is too low, which may have an impact on future tasks. I suddenly woke up. Oh no. I was so busy bullying the male lead that I and the system actually forgot about this. For some reason, within these 2 years, Andrew's mood value has been dropping because of me, and all these have been counted into my bullying achievements. I even helped the system get a small bonus because of this. But things were too quiet on the female lead's side, so I almost forgot that I had to get closer to the female lead. Although the second male lead is a supporting character, he is still the second male lead. I have 2 main tasks. The first is to bully the male lead, and the second is to pursue the female lead. I become the catalyst for their relationship. Make the male lead jealous and misunderstand the female lead. Let the female lead get to know the male lead and pity him. I have to hurry up. I quickly bought a flashy and cool bright purple sports car, dyed my hair yellow, dressed ostentatiously, and drove to the school to find Olivia. Through the iron fence, I saw her playing tennis. She looked surprised. After looking at me carefully for a few times, she laughed and said, "Oh, it's you. Hello, Jackson. After a chat, she knew that I was going to study at this university for a year. She picked up her phone with a smile and said, "You may not know that Andrew is also studying at this university. Wait a minute. I'll call him here." I quickly stopped her and said, "Well, not for now. Let's talk for a while first." I was nervous. The main system was right in reminding me. Olivia is too polite to me now. If it goes on like this, how can I stage the scene where the male lead sees me sending her home when she's drunk at night and gets jealous? I was so anxious that I scratched my head. In my previous life, I was only busy playing games and never chased a girl. The system asked quietly, "What about boys?" I said firmly, "Absolutely impossible. If I were to like a man, I'd run around the city naked 3 times. In the following days, I did my best to buy gifts for Olivia, invite her to dinner, and go to the library with her. Seeing the strategy value rising slightly, unexpectedly, Andrew came to stir things up again. He seemed to have run here with his hair slightly messy. He glanced at me, his eyes deep and unfathomable. Leaving without saying goodbye. Long time no see. It's so inexplicable. I said irritably, "Why should I say goodbye to you? Besides, I clearly left a little note before leaving, saying farewell. I'll never need to see you again." To prevent him from starving to death in these 2 years, I also stuffed him with 10,000 yuan to keep him alive so that I could come back and bully him. Okay, if you don't want to say goodbye, then it's okay. But it's okay to shake hands when we meet, right? Looking at the cold and aloof Andrew actually having an unexpectedly good temper. He stretched out his hand and smiled slightly. The smile on his lips spread across his whole face, making even his eyebrows and eyes light up. It was like the ice had broken and the spring scenery was charming and stunningly gorgeous. Subconsciously, I stupidly held his hand. After coming to my senses, I suddenly withdrew my hand, blushing and stammering, "Why should I shake hands with you?" "Because of our reunion." Andrew said slowly as if he enjoyed every word he said. I'm very happy. I swallowed my saliva. Olivia said, you two seem to have a good relationship. Then you two talk first. I'll go for training. No. I was about to stop her but couldn't find a good reason. Andrew smiled and said to Olivia, I've sent you the notes for those professional courses. They're just right for you to look at if you want to change your major. Olivia smiled and gave an okay sign. Thanks, friend. I was extremely angry. Olivia hasn't even called me friend yet. Damned Andrew. Coincidentally, there's a plot mission for me to complete. With a mix of old and new grudges, I forcefully dragged Andrew into the grove. Then I pushed him to the ground. Just as he was about to get up, I unhesitatingly stepped on his abdomen with my foot. But then I thought there's all soft flesh there and it's easy to hurt someone. So I changed the position and pressed the heel of my foot on his thigh. Andrew's pupils suddenly constricted and he actually let out a muffled groan with his ears turning red. The system wondered, what's wrong with him? Hurry up and say the male competition declaration. Filled with jealousy, I said, I'm warning you, don't get so close to Olivia anymore. Okay, got it. He hung his head, desperately trying to hide all his expressions. His tone was extremely obedient, even with a hint of helpless indulgence. Don't worry. I'm just a classmate with her. The person I like isn't her. I was stunned. The system couldn't believe it and panicked. What? Is he crazy? Hurry up and beat him back to normal. Following the system's advice, I pulled the male lead up, grabbed his neck, and forcefully pressed him against the wall. I got close to him, almost with our faces touching, threatening him with my intimidating gaze. If you dare to lie to me, I'll dash. Before I could even pretend to punch him in the face with my fist that was still in mid-air, I felt as if something had poked me first. I was stunned for a moment. Andrew's face changed, but he still couldn't stop me from lowering my head. I looked in that direction. Andrew was wearing dark-colored pants today, but it was still very obvious. My fist was trembling. The system was screaming in my head and couldn't speak clearly. And I felt that my forehead, the tips of my ears, my cheeks, and my neck were all completely red. You. I gritted my teeth and couldn't even say a word. Andrew stared at me steadily and nodded slowly, yes, me too. I jumped away suddenly, stepped on the leaves with a crackling sound, and fled the grove in a hurry. I got into my sports car and left this troublesome place without looking back. It wasn't until I got home and gulped down a glass of ice water that I came to my senses. Wait a minute. Why did Andrew say, me too? Why did he use this too on me? Because you're gay. The system said straightforwardly. Who says I'm gay? I roared. Then let me test you. Suppose someone wants to look at your hand, how will you offer it? I was confused and offered my hand with the back side up. Offering your hand with the back side up means you're gay. What kind of a weird test is this? I roared. The system said slowly, I haven't finished yet. There's another question in this test. When the test result says you're gay, do you feel pure disgust and resistance in your heart? Or are you in a state of terrified confusion? If it's the latter, then the person you like must be male. I was stunned. I remained silent for a long time. Then he hugged his head and fell into a state of collapse. Is this task really about bullying Andrew or torturing me? I dared not see Andrew, but the task was still mercilessly issued. The latest task. The female lead is drunk and I have to carry her home. On the way, I meet the male lead and get beaten up so badly that even my parents wouldn't recognize me. I nervously held my phone and waited for Olivia's call. I waited until almost dawn but didn't get the call. I quickly got dressed neatly. After thinking about it, I changed into a decent suit. I hoped that when I was beaten to the verge of death by Andrew, kind-hearted passers-by would send me to the hospital because of my expensive suit. I found the KTV where Olivia was having a party with her friends. Olivia was listlessly lying on her female friend's shoulder. The friend looked at her contacts and asked, Olivia, this won't do. You have to find someone to take you home. You've rejected all your close friends. So who on earth should take you? I quickly pushed the door open and said, let me do it. I'm a good friend of Olivia. She was startled for a moment. Hello, classmate. I'm Jackson. I've known Olivia since high school. Jackson. Oh, right, your name is in the contacts. That friend said, okay. Then you help support her. Let's take her back to the dormitory together. I carried Olivia on my back, feeling extremely happy. Finally, for once, the mission was a success. I was so overjoyed that I lost my composure and became a chatterbox. chatting merrily with that girl. By the time we reached the dormitory building, Olivia was a bit sober from the alcohol. She recognized me with a hazy, drunken look in her eyes. She barely stood up straight, raised her hand and gave me a big hug, patting me on the back. "I wish you happiness and take good care of yourself. This little girl is really nice." I watched her being sent into the dormitory building by her companion with a smiling face. Before leaving, her companion waved to me and said, "I didn't expect you to be a fan of Taylor too. Let's add each other online." I was more than willing. After adding each other online, I walked towards the sports car while looking at my phone. After walking just a few steps, I felt a piercingly cold gaze. I looked up and saw Andrew. Oh no, he's going to start punching. I swallowed hard. Although I was mentally prepared, I still felt a bit scared when I saw him walking towards me with a bad look on his face. Andrew said, "Jackson, she is..." "Stop. Come with me to a place. Let's talk there." I quickly interrupted. "I don't want to be beaten to a pulp in public. That's why, as smart as I am, I made arrangements in advance and emptied my family's dance studio, covering it all with soft cushions. A row of family doctors are already waiting in full readiness upstairs, and my bedroom has long been furnished with many pillows and relaxing scented candles that soothe the mind, which is very suitable for recuperating from injuries. Since this misfortune can't be avoided, I can only use my money power to minimize the damage. Good boy. Don't be nervous later. The system encourages me. Driving my sports car, I'm so scared that I'm expressionless and nod forcefully. After arriving home, Andrew is stunned. He just lets me pull him towards the dance studio in a daze. "The place you're taking me to is your home?" he asks softly. I directly throw him onto the soft cushion and close the door, not letting anyone see the ugly state of me being beaten. Then I just throw caution to the wind and say, "What?" Not convinced. Andrew has a very complicated expression. He shakes his head and says nothing. It seems that all the jealousy he had when he saw me just now has been washed away by confusion. He is like a person without a temper, looking up at the surrounding mirrors and the white cushions covering the floor. Suddenly, his movements freeze, as if he has suddenly figured something out. He turns back in disbelief. "You like this kind of thing? It's better than being humiliated in public," I say irritably. He shakes his head, but his face turns red. I was a bit excited just now, but I definitely didn't have that kind of thought, let alone in public. He lowers his eyes and clenches his fingers, not finishing his sentence. Why is he still shy? He also said he definitely didn't have such thoughts. Nonsense. In the original text, he didn't even say hello and just gave me a treatment with his wisdom tooth to front tooth medical right in the face. I snorted coldly. "Stop talking. Come if you want. I know you were angry when you saw me sending Olivia back. Stop pretending." He shook his head. "I'm not angry anymore." "No, you must be angry today. If he isn't angry, what about my mission?" I grabbed his face and forcefully squeezed wrinkles on his brow like when he was furious. "Be angry. Be angry quickly." Andrew looked at me helplessly. "Okay. I'm very angry. I really want to lock you up and never let you talk to others." He sighed. "Is that okay?" Maybe I was having an illusion, but there was actually a smile in his sigh. I was at a loss. "Then, will you still treat me like that after you're done being angry?" I asked in a low voice. Somehow, there was a bit of nervousness in my heart that I didn't even notice. Does he really like me? But if he likes me, he shouldn't want to hit me, right? But I watched as Andrew slowly nodded. My heart suddenly went cold. I forced a smile, closed my eyes, and waited for his beating. Andrew put his arm around my lower back and forced me to bring my face closer. The next moment, a cool and soft thing approached my lips. It was a silent kiss. "Jackson, thank you for liking me too." I blushed from head to toe. The system was silent for a moment and said softly, "It's okay. It's okay. Just consider my bonus as a wedding gift for you too." Turned around and left, as if making some kind of determination. It activated the youth mode and cut off the connection between me and it. In the last second before the disconnection, the system said, "Good boy. I'm going to knit wedding clothes for you. You have to be okay." It also said, "But I thought about it." The original text described that, after Jackson woke up, his waist was almost broken and he stayed in bed for 3 days. Maybe the task can still be completed. I didn't understand. But I smacked my lips and thought the kiss just now was really good. This kid Andrew is really shrewd. As soon as I opened my mouth, he understood what I was thinking and directly blocked my mouth. This kiss was even better. That night, I lay on the cushion in a daze with only one thing on my mind. I'll never come to the dance studio to fight again in the future. At dawn, I lay in bed in a daze with only one thing on my mind. I won't put extra pillows on my bed anymore. I definitely won't use incense and candles either. In the morning, I lay on Andrew's body in a daze and finally remembered one thing. A dozen family doctors upstairs have been on standby all night. In the first month of my relationship with Andrew, Olivia found out. She looked extremely surprised. I thought you two had secretly started dating in high school. Andrew kept silent, while I let out a louder than her. Olivia shrugged. The way Andrew looks at you is so full of affection. I stared at her, dumbfounded. Really? Yes. When he heard that you like sweet things, he asked several classmates which small cakes in the store were the best. He even asked me. Olivia said. Andrew coughed to interrupt the topic. By the way, how's it going with your major transfer? Olivia frowned. It's difficult. She hesitated for a moment and then said, "However, I think maybe I don't need to transfer anymore. You know, I wanted to transfer for Stella." Stella? Isn't that the girl I saw at the KTV last time? I was stunned. Olivia said frankly, "I haven't told you before. Stella is on the tennis team and I'm on the track and field team. We got to know each other when we went to another province for a competition. I originally wanted to pretend to be drunk and spend more time with her at the KTV last time, but unexpectedly you came to pick me up." I hugged my head tightly. Why has everyone changed? The current plot is completely different from the original text, right? To be honest, that night, I was a bit jealous when I heard you chatting and laughing with her. So I took the courage of alcohol to make things clear, and we got together. Andrew smiled. Sometimes alcohol is really a good thing. I blushed and said nothing. Olivia didn't understand what was going on. She waved to us. "Okay, then you two go on with your business. I'm going for training." I watched Olivia's back as she left and heard the voice of the main system. After detection, the world line has been distorted. It is determined that this world has split into a new free world. Please note that all tasks are cancelled. Hosts are free to choose whether to exit this world. I let out a sigh of relief and held Andrew's hand. From now on, I'll have more chances to show my true self in front of Andrew. Hey, won't you dislike me for being a playboy rich second generation? Andrew raised his eyebrows. Will you dislike me for being a useless nerd? I was stunned for a moment. Aren't you quite capable? I think it's about 20 centimeters. Right? Andrew covered his face. It took him a long time to look up and said quietly, "You're really quite a playboy, rich second generation." I laughed uncontrollably. It's imaginable that every day from now on will be as sunny as today.